If you don't get this far, your first day, don't be discouraged. She's actually doing an exceptionally well job, and it is much easier to work with these guys when they're babies. The longer they've been out in the wild, the more of a challenge they're going to be. I will be doing other videos with other horses based on their personality types, so you'll get to see a little bit of variation. I have a feeling there's a couple in the group that aren't going to be so easy, so stay tuned for those videos. Good girl. Good girl. So right now she's looking away from me. If she faces me, that's when I'm gonna back off. There. Good girl. It was very subtle, but she faced up good. There's a good one. Good girl. It's very, very important that you do this equally on both sides. So you're gonna have one side running away from you. Step back. Good, she's looking. Good girl. I'm going to ask her for a step. Good. Okay, I'm going to keep that pressure until she turns into me. Not pulling. Good. Good girl. Then I'm going to ask her to step into me. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. What a good girl. Again, I'm going back to her outer withers. Now it's important that you do desensitize their legs, but I like to get the halter on them before I do that. Again, I'm not trapping her, she's testing me. Good girl. She wasn't trying to walk away right there, she was just leaning against the rope. Not understanding. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. She's just not exactly sure what I'm asking her to do. Good. That's a girl. Good girl. Good girl. See if she'll take a big step towards me. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. There. Boy, she's a smart little one. Okay. Then I'm going to take the end of my rope, tie it into a knot with a little bit of a loop. At the end. I'm going to run the other end through this. So it's almost like a lariat. We have to be really careful at this point, because if she pulls on it, it's going to get tight. So you don't want this tight on their neck at any point. So once you have the rope over their nose, you're going to slip it through the other side. And then we have our makeshift halter. But at this point we now have control over her head. Now this type of halter can also be known as a war bridle, and in the wrong hands can be very dangerous. It should never be pulled on. If the horse starts resisting, you should never let it get tight. It's just a tool, when used properly, that can be effective in teaching a horse how to lead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply pressure, just like we did with the rope when it was around her neck, and as soon as she gives into that pressure, I'm going to release. Good girl. Good girl.